Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Sports Zone.
Welcome to summer in Atlanta. For the first time, the thermometer reached 100 degrees here in the heart of the South, and the Boston Red Sox are in town for the home portion of this four-game series of interleague play. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe, welcome back to Turner Field. The Braves split a two-game set up against the Red Sox at Fenway Park, but welcome to Hotlanta, and hopefully the bounces will go Alex Wood's way today.
I hope they go a little better than they did yesterday at Fenway Park when unbeknownst to him in batting practice, a fly ball was zeroing in on him, lasered him right on top of the head. Fortunately, and it's really, again, it's hard for me not to laugh, but fortunately he was okay. They treated him. He's ready to go tonight.
Maybe that's just what Alex needed to get things going here at Turner Field, perhaps.
Knock some cobwebs loose. You know, at Turner Field, he has not pitched very well. And Alex, over his last couple of starts, has struggled a little bit. One of those games against Pittsburgh, he got knocked around one inning, gave up 3 runs, and got thrown out of the ballgame for complaining a little bit too vociferously. And against New York in his last time out, he pitched into the 7th inning, but still got a loss. So he's due to have a good one. He's certainly due to have a good one here at Turner Field. There are the numbers for his last 2 starts. 2 homers allowed in that one start, after having allowed only 2 all year long.
The Braves know a thing or two about power pitching. They have Shelby Miller in the rotation. Joe Kelly's his former teammate, and I think Joe pitches rather similarly.
Absolutely he does, and he's a guy who's like 6'1", 185 pounds. He's not a great big guy, but he can bring it, folks. He's averaging right around 96 miles an hour on his fastball. The Red Sox have actually asked him to back off a little bit, try to stay around 93 and 94, and then go to 97 if you need it. There are his last 6 starts. He has had real trouble on the road. We hope that continues for him tonight.
A very thick night weather-wise in Atlanta. We'll see if that affects the Boston Red Sox as the Braves and Sox meet in Game 3. Speaking of fastballs, Juan Uribe can hit anybody's. He has been wonderful at third base. We'll see how he fares when we come right back.
continuation of this 4-game set between the Bravos and the Red Sox, but the first one here in lovely Atlanta. Hello, everyone. Andre Aldridge here, and I tell you what, Juan Uribe joining our ball club on May 27th. Well, that has gone together like hand in glove. Juan Uribe doing everything asked in the field and at the plate. He has had multi-hit games, multiple times, a couple of 3-hit games. He also is the man at third base, and when you want a guy to come up in a clutch situation, all he does is hits and hits and hits. Matter of fact, Juan Uribe is our T-Mobile game changer, because before becoming an Atlanta Brave, well, we take a look at the numbers before May 27th, and then after that, simply on fire. 16 games, .356 batting average since then. That leads the Braves. That's big-time stuff going on there. Second on the Braves since that point, and also second in on-base percentage. Now, A.J. Przinsky and Juan were teammates for 4 years in Chicago, beginning in 2005, and I asked AJ his thoughts about having his old Chicago buddy on the Braves.
He's a really good player. He's been a really good player for a long time. I think he kind of flies under the radar because some of the teams he's been on have been really good and he hasn't been the star. But if you look at his numbers and you look at his career, he's had a really good career. I know he was one of the best shortstops I ever played with, and then we moved him to third base, and he's one of the best third basemen I ever played with. So he's bounced around. He does whatever the team asks. He never complains. He just goes about his business the right way.
Big-time stuff coming from A.J. Meanwhile, Woody wanting to get that back up from A.J. at the plate, and also Juan at third base. Braves and the Red Sox coming up after the break. Joe and Chip will have it for you. Enjoy it.
The Red Sox. Game 3 of this 4-game series, 2 in Fenway Park, were split. John Farrell's club comes to town in a heat wave, and they finally snapped their long 7-game losing streak to the Braves yesterday. Dustin Pedroia leads off their academy batting order with Brock Holt, the man that hit for the cycle, hitting second and right. Bogarts, Hanley Ramirez, Pablo Sandoval, 4th and 5th. Napoli, Betts, Blake Swihart, and Joe Kelly, the pitcher, does have to hit. No DH as we play National League style baseball in Atlanta, and let's hope tonight's the night Alex Wood gets his first home win.
Well, these are interesting numbers here for Alex. The top guys in the batting order, numbers 1 and 2, are averaging .359 against him. Well, guess what? Pedroia and Holt have had good series. Pedroia only played 1 game, went 2 for 3. Holt is 5 for 8 in this series already. After hitting for the cycle yesterday, they will be instrumental in, and it'll be in Alex's best interest to keep them off the bases.
So Dustin, Wally Pipp, Pedroia leads off for the Red Sox. How about the day Brock Holt had for the Red Sox yesterday, leading off? Pedroia had the day off yesterday, nursing some fluid on the knee, as Joe reported yesterday. And he's promptly ahead in the count. 2 balls, no strikes. Pedroia at .313 with 9 homers, and he's really flourished since moving to the #1 spot on the lineup card. Pedroia with 35 hits in that stretch and took a high strike. It's 2-2. Tap foul. Will do it again.
Time for the Ford Keys to pitching success for Alex Wood today. #1, back foot slider. A lot of right-handers in there today. That slider needs to be real efficient down and in. You know, really bury it in there and command. He walked 4 guys in his last outing in 6 1/3 innings. Got to improve on that.
Swing and a miss. There's a good start for Alex. He comes back from a 2-0 count. 1 down.
And he got him with the breaking ball. Not exactly back foot, but good breaking ball for the out.
Here's Brock Holt, an historic day for the Red Sox right fielder. He played second base yesterday, hit for the cycle. First Red Sox player ever to hit us for the cycle during interleague play.
You know, I didn't notice these headphones being so hot in Boston. They're hot tonight.
Yeah. Unofficially 94 degrees in Atlanta. And it's supposed to be this way through the weekend. 2 with Boston, then the New York Mets come to town. 0-2 pitch for Holt, and that's tapped foul and got a piece of Przinski's throwing hand. And Brock Holt, our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot feature.
First Red Sox since June of '96. First by a second baseman since Bobby Doerr, who, by the way, is the only Boston Red Sox player in history to do it twice.
Didn't know that. And a little tapper up the middle. Peterson dives, got a glove on it, but couldn't make the play. And Brock Holt is 6 for 9 against Braves pitching in this series.
Got a magic wand working, doesn't he?
Yep.
That was right off the end of the bat. Breaking ball that was up. That's why he was able to get a piece of it. Was away from him, but man, he's finding the holes right now and the gaps.
And that'll bring up shortstop Xander Bogaerts. He should love this weather. It's probably like this down in Aruba, where he comes from. He's 22. Bouncing ball to Uribe, who bobbled, fired to second, low throw. And did Jace hang on? Yes, he did. The Red Sox might challenge this call at second base. Brock Holt forced out on a low throw from Juan Uribe. And the Boston skipper, John Farrell, awaits the decision from his bench.
Yeah, on the bobble from Uribe, then his throw didn't have a lot on it. And I thought that was smart of Jace just to hold on to it and show Ron Culpa that he had the baseball. Low throw, and Jace has it in a glove.
Whoa, he's got it. Is that pinned up against the back of his leg?
I believe so. And he's looking at the umpire to let him make the call.
And it looks like Boston is going to challenge the out call at second base.
Larry Vanover is the crew chief. Red Sox challenged one in the first inning yesterday and lost, and thereby didn't have any reviews available the rest of the game.
Let's check out this angle. He says he's got it, and he's got it pinned up against the leg. Does that constitute possession?
I'm not even sure the throw beat him. I'm not even sure that whether he caught it or not. Looked like Holt might have beaten the toss.
You know, we had the commissioner in the booth yesterday in Boston. We didn't have time to ask him this question, but there has been some grumbling among major league managers that the inconclusive bailout is providing an excuse to not have calls changed. I don't know that we've seen a whole lot of evidence of that. We have seen an awful lot of inconclusive replays.
Well, I think that it has to be conclusive as just a protection device for the umpires on a real hard to tell safer out call. And using their best judgment on site, they stick with it and blowing them out.
So the call stands, and you can hear the displeasure from the multitude of Red Sox Nation, which is gathered here in Atlanta tonight. Minute 44, so John Farrell loses his challenge.
Again, that was a smart play on the part of Peterson.
And now Hanley Ramirez bats. Hanley at 270 with 13 homers, and he's driven home 33. And he jumps all over the first pitch and hits it high in the air towards center, but Cameron Maybin has it measured up.
First time he's hit a ball with a wood bat today.
With the aluminum bat he was using at BP, that's off the scoreboard. Nothing doing for the Red Sox in the first. The top of the first, and I agree with that lady. She's right. Here's the Braves lineup presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The Braves at 31 and 34 for the year. Jace Peterson leads off the Academy starting nine. Maybin, Freeman, Markakis in the top four. Juan Uribe swinging a hot bat. He's the third baseman. Kelly Johnson, A.J. Przinsky, Stuno Andrelton Simmons, Pedro Siriaco gets the start, and a hard Thor faces for the Boston Red Sox.
Joe Kelly's 26 years old, 6'1", 185 out of Southern California. His last four starts, a 1-1 record, but a very high ERA.
First pitch swing, that's slicing away from the center fielder and headed for the warning track, and it's off the fence. Jace Peterson glides in with a first pitch double. No chance for Mookie Betts to get that baby, and here we go in the bottom of the first inning.
Jace has been jumping on the first pitch of the ball game lately and almost hit that one out of the ballpark. That was not his red hot heater. That was 91, but down the middle, and a good start for the Atlanta offense. This guy averages 96 miles an hour. That's the fourth hardest fastball average in baseball.
Cameron Maybin will try to move Peterson along, and he bunts foul. This is where Cameron has been such a wonderful addition to the Braves offense. We're looking at the man that has the top batting average in baseball with runners in scoring position. Cameron Maybin is hitting .460 with runners at second base or third base this year. And nobody saw that coming.
No, it'd be really nice to be added to that right here, but more importantly, or as important, get him over to third base however you can.
And that's inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Kelly's last start got a no decision. He had a big lead, and then the Red Sox lost the game 13-10 to Toronto. 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs given up by him.
Maybin didn't get it, and now he's behind. A ball and 2 strikes. The old saying in baseball, good pitching gets out good hitting. That's exactly what's happened to Toronto the last 2 days. The Mets have beaten them 2 in a row.
Fastball, change up, and then a couple of different breaking balls for Joe Kelly, who came from the Cardinals. A deal for John Lackey.
Alan Craig also came to the Red Sox. That's really been a mystery ever since Craig left the Cardinals. He hasn't been nearly the same player. In fact, he's a AAA for Boston right now. Chase has a good lead out at second. And a bouncy ball to short. Peterson's going to try to go to third, and that was a bad decision. Easy play for Xander Bogaerts, and Jace makes the first out at third base. Not what you want. And Maybin's at first base with 1 down.
That's 100% a young guy trying to make something good happen. After Cameron was not able to get the bunt down, Chase thought he'd do the right thing by trying to take third base anyway, and he knew as soon as he slid into third base, I shouldn't have done that.
So there's a gift for the Red Sox. That brings up Freddie Freeman, and he takes inside.
One of the things you have to always keep in consideration as a base runner is, especially a leadoff guy, is who's coming up next and who's coming up behind him. You know, is there a chance the next guy might drive me in even though I wasn't moved over to third? And in this case, yeah, there's a good chance of that if you just hang tight, be patient.
And the reason for that is Freddie Freeman's having a red-hot June. Braves first baseman's hitting .344 this month with 5 homers and 15 knocked in. And like Cameron Maybin, hitting over .400 with runners in scoring position. Cameron's got a good lead. 2-0 pitch. He is off the plate. 2 balls, or make it 3 balls at a strike now. Green light and fouled away. 3 balls at a strike. Freddie Freeman and the Braves start play tonight, 4.5 games behind New York. Braves are 3 games behind the second place Washington Nationals. They're a game and a half out of first place. Fly ball towards center and playable for Mookie Betts. And he's got it. Maybin retreats to first, and 2 are out for Nick Markakis. Nick had 3 hits up at Fenway Park. His average back over 300 at .302. He's knocked in 20 runs. And he starts play tonight with a 4-game hitting streak.
Cameron might have been running there.
That one got away from Maben and deflected off Larry Vanover. So Maben's in at second base on the pitcher's throwing error. Red Sox have not been happy with their defense the first 2+ months of the season.
That hit off of Maben and Vanover. You're right, Chip. They've gotten Cameron in the ribs. Oh, just under his ribs.
It's the 40th error for the Red Sox. They've allowed 19 unearned runs. So scoring position chance for Nick with 2 outs. And he slashes one out of play. Strike 1. Nick has been a model of consistency for the Braves all year. Can't remember a time where his average has been below 300 by more than a couple of points, at least not in the last month. And a little dribbler back to the mound. Kelly will charge it and flip underhanded to first. And that ends the inning. Leadoff double and a bad base running decision cost the Braves a chance to score first in the first here at Turner Field. Tonight's game, we're participating in the Home Run Challenge. Tonight, every Braves homer raises $12,500 for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge by going online to homerunchallenge.org. A look at the Atlanta defensive lineup brought to you by CPI Security. Most notably, Pedro Siriaco is in at shortstop. Still no Andrelton Simmons, but Joe Freddy Gonzalez told us that he thinks Andrelton would be available tonight in a pinch.
Yeah, I think he probably could have played, but the Bobby Cox rule. One more day. He said there was still a little bit of swelling and soreness in there, so that's reason enough not to play. I was watching him during batting practice take ground balls. Seemed to be throwing okay, but not the loose, easy wrist snap we're used to seeing.
He and the Braves got really lucky on that play. That could have been a devastating injury for the Atlanta team. And hopefully he'll be back and ready to go tomorrow night. Pablo Sandoval leads off for the Red Sox. He's hitting .265, 6 homers, 23 knocked in. Sandoval, a switch hitter, but he's abandoned hitting right-handed against lefties, and he dumps that ball into left for a leadoff single. Sandoval just 2 for 41 this year as a right-handed batter.
5 for 9 with 3 doubles now against the Braves in this series. Late on that one, just fought it off. But he and Holt have it working right now.
This is Mike Napoli. He was in the throes of a long slump. strike. Takes low, ball 1. Napoli had an 0 for 17 working until the 4th inning yesterday. He singled in that frame, doubled and scored in the 6th. All part of a 9-4 Red Sox win. Outside, ball 2. Amazing thing about the Boston team from my perspective, Joe, with all this thunder, with all these big names in their lineup, they've been outscored by 57 runs this year. Much of that has to do with an unbelievably bad batting average with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, it seems a little disjointed. Now that's hard to say when they had 18 hits against the Braves yesterday, and they scored 9 runs. But they have had trouble putting stretches together, putting rallies together, and some of the guys like Napoli up until yesterday, they've really been struggling overall, not just with runners in scoring position. And several of these hitters have gotten well against the Braves.
That was taken letter high, and it's ball 4. So 2 on, nobody out, and that'll bring up Mookie Betts. He's another Boston hitter that's gotten well against the Braves. He's 6 for 9 so far in the series. And Mookie Betts' play are Zaxby's indescribably good play.
He'd really been scuffling before Atlanta came to town. Teams had stopped pitching him inside. They'd been pitching him away. He wasn't getting any hits. He wasn't adjusting. But in this series, he's getting some pitches to hit. He's, as you saw, 6 for 9 with a triple.
And he lays down a beautiful butt. You're going to have to hurry, Alex. The throw to first is in time. A sacrifice. Betts thought he beat the rap. John Farrell's going to come argue this time. Remember, he's already used his challenge. And the sacrifice sends Sandoval to third and Napoli to second.
Betts can really run, and he appeared to be safe. Yep, he was. So a break for Atlanta on what will be a sacrifice. Good hustle by Alex just to get it over there and make it a play. These are the good old days here. This is like an argument.
Yeah. Remember those?
Uh-huh. He's pointing at second base, too, so he's upset with both calls.
And I'm sure he's saying, I had to burn my challenge on a play at second base. Now I don't have one in a situation where I should have the bases loaded and nobody out. So for you young fans who are watching a major league game for the first time, that is what we call a rhubarb, where the major league manager doesn't like a call of an umpire and he goes out and discusses that in between action on the field. We didn't used to have replays. We used to actually have managers yell and scream and throw hats and throw bases and all that stuff. Much calmer reaction from John Farrell here. So here's Blake Swihart, young catcher, hitting .222. And taken upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. You've got the pitcher waiting next for the Red Sox. That's Joe Kelly.
All his at bats yesterday against the Braves left-handed, so our first look at him right-handed. There's a back foot.
There you go. He becomes the key man of the inning. Tell the movement by watching Przinski's glove. Nice pitch. Now he's way ahead. 1 ball, 2 strikes for the Boston catcher. And he just struck him out. Big out for Alex Wood. And now Joe Kelly bats. Second strikeout for Wood tonight.
We've talked before about how difficult it is to bat 8. Well, Swihart doesn't hit in the National League. He might bat 8 in the American League, but he's got another bat behind him. But it's so important in this league because of situations like that. Braves decided not to pitch around him and put him on and pitch to the pitcher. They went right after him, and he needed to make contact and get a run in. Couldn't.
Kelly squibs one out towards second, and Alex Wood is going to be out of the soup. Braves got a break on a bunt by Mookie Betts. A strikeout and a ground out ends the Boston second.
Still going at it here, and I tell you, we wanted to see Andrelton Simmons at shortstop tonight. Matter of fact, Andrelton Simmons wanted to see Simba at shortstop tonight, but he continues to rest and rehab the injury he had on the hit by pitch on the bunted tip during the first game in Boston. Now, as Freddie Gonzalez said, if it was up to Simba, well, he probably would have played yesterday, but it's all about being safe and being smart. Simba told me himself, hey, you know what? I'm a little stubborn when it comes to these things. I want to be out there playing, but I know the best thing for me is what the doctors are telling me to do, so I'm doing what the doctor's telling me to do. And with the move today of picking up Daniel Castro from Gwinnett, Freddie Gonzalez said, hey, it's just the thing to have a backup infielder in case this thing goes on a little longer than we're anticipating, Chip.
Thank you, Andre. That's a good point. We forgot to mention that Daniel Castro was called up today from Gwinnett. Mike Fultonevich was sent to Gwinnett.
Well, Castro was tearing it up at Double-A. He's hitting .389. He got promoted to Triple-A, and he was hitting just a little under .300 at Gwinnett.
So there he is. And here is Juan Uribe, who's quickly behind 0-2. Fultonevich was supposed to start for the Braves on Friday. Atlanta has not yet announced who will pitch that game against Jacob deGrom and the Mets. Out of play. And Uribe is still alive, 0-2.
I think it'll be good for Mike to get a start or two in at AAA and work on some things. Try to get a little better command, use all his pitches for strikes a little better.
Little pop, foul ground at first. Napoli runs out of real estate.
I thought he was a little out of sync in his last start. Although his timing was a little off, he seemed to be following through in New York with his right leg kind of, I don't know how to describe it, in a weird follow through leg kick coming around. He was off balance a little bit, so maybe that work in AAA will help him.
And Uribe's down on a breaking ball. Good pitch by Kelly. And there's out number 1. In 2013, Joe Kelly was vying with Shelby Miller for the last spot in the Cardinals starting rotation. That was a job that was eventually won by Shelby Miller. Kelly didn't pitch an awful lot until the second half of the season. Then he pitched great for the Cardinals, including a 5-0 mark in August of that season. Shelby Miller beat him out and stayed in rotation, but there were no hard feelings as Kelly Johnson bats. Joe Kelly and Shelby Miller are the best of friends. In fact, they were each other's best men for their weddings.
That's nice.
And that's outside. 2 balls and a strike. Shelby married Amy. Kelly married Ashley. 2 balls and a strike. And downstairs for Kelly Johnson, it's 3-1. Kelly's got a couple of 3-hit games since he's come off the DL with an oblique. And he hits this one a mile high into shallow center, and that's where Mookie Betts patrols. He's got it, 2 outs. And here's the rest of the Boston defense. More of a challenge for Hanley Ramirez in left field. Much bigger ballpark here in Atlanta with Brock Holt in right. Napoli, Pedroia, Bogarts, and Sandoval from first to third. Swihart and Kelly is the Red Sox battery.
Yeah, we mentioned that Hanley Ramirez was taking batting practice with an aluminum bat today. So was David Ortiz. Ortiz not playing tonight. The batting practice for those 2 guys tonight was more home run derby. Let me see how far I can hit one. It's obvious neither one was taking batting practice too serious tonight. I've never seen that happen. I asked the Red Sox announcers. They said they've never seen it happen.
And Hanley saw all of 1 pitch before flying out to end Boston first. AJ knocked in a run up at Fenway Park. He's 2 for 4 in the series and takes low. 3 balls, no strikes. There's a strike. Brian Knight is our home plate umpire, the pride of Helena, Montana. Probably a lot cooler there than Atlanta, Georgia tonight. Ball 4 to Przinsky. He's aboard with a 2-out walk, and Pedro Ciriaco strides to the box. That has been an issue for Kelly. That's 27 walks for him now in a little more than 67 innings. And we mentioned up at Fenway Park, the Red Sox are trying to replace 2 veteran guys in the rotation. John Lester, who's now with the Cubs, and John Lackey, for whom Kelly was traded and now is with the St. Louis Cardinals.
I think the effort to try to get him to back off his fastball just a little bit was to try to generate better command. Throw the ball over the plate a little more often. And always go back to the 97 if you need it.
When he throws it like that, it is smooth and easy, isn't it?
Sure is.
It was at 96 at the knees.
Two starts in his career against the Braves, 2 runs allowed in 12 1/3 innings.
That one bounced off the mound and through to center field. Ciriaco has a hit. Pedro makes his 8th start tonight for the Braves, and that will clear Alex Wood.
Pedro had 2 hits yesterday. They came in his last 2 at bats, a single in the 7th and then an RBI double in the 9th. And starts on a good note with his 3rd straight hit. Here his first at bat tonight. Pedro's no kid. He's been around. We've talked about that before. He's been with a couple of different organizations, and he can hit.
Let's see if Alex can help himself with Przinsky at second, Ciriaco at first. No score. And a strike. 0-1. .95 at the knees. Kelly thought that was good enough for strike 3. He was on his way to the Boston dugout. Was it?
Let's take a look at our PNC Bank box tracks.
Yeah.
I had a good look at that.
Make him work on a hot night. John Farrell's beside himself
on umpiring.
Yes. The 2-2 is outside, full count. So this helps. Brzezinski and Siriaco will take off with the pitch. It was 0-2. Now it's 3-2. Bouncing ball right side. Napoli's got it. Underhand shovel to the pitcher covering. And that retires the side. Braves stranded pair in the second. Top of the order coming up for Boston next.
Scoreless ball game. Now, you may remember yesterday I had a little conversation with Juan Uribe when Juan telling me that he could play any position in the infield still. So a little earlier today, I pointed that out to his good friend, A.J. Brzezinski, and A.J. pointed this out to me.
I'd like to see him catch because he'd be scared of the ball. So we'll see if we can try and get him back there, but he probably wouldn't know what to do.
Now, again, great teammates. They've been 4 years together as members of the Chicago White Sox, and it bears repeating. A.J. says that Juan Uribe is not only the best third baseman he's ever played with, he's the best shortstop he's ever played with. It's those quick feet, those great instincts, and again, maybe he can't catch, but Chip, I tell you, it seems like he can do just about everything else, including clean the clubhouse.
Yeah, he's been a wonderful addition for the Braves ball club at third base. I wonder if A.J. would change his opinion of Uribe being the best shortstop now that he's seen Andrelton Simmons up close for 3 months counting spring training.
I have a feeling he meant up till now.
Yeah. Here's Pedroia. He takes a little low. 1 ball, no strikes. He lifts one in the air toward left. It might have been trouble at Fenway Park, but it's a lazy fly ball here in Atlanta, and Pedroia's 0 for 2. And that's the first out. Wonder if that's part of the problem for the Red Sox. What might go as a hit off the Green Monster, or easy outs on the road, where Boston has lost 20 of 32 games.
That question's been asked a lot about Boston teams since 1912. But they've always seemed to have good offensive ball clubs. And it translates home or the road.
Strike to Brock Holt. He's played every position except catcher and pitcher for Boston this year. tied him up. Good pitch. 0-2.
He was 0-2 yesterday, the start of the ball game, and hit one off the wall for a double.
And he is down swinging. Easy peg to first for Brzezinski. That is the third strikeout for Alex Wood. 2 up, 2 down. And Xander Bogaerts, the shortstop's coming up.
Good changeup. Strikeout number 3. Great pitch right to the back of the plate.
Bogaerts bounced out his first time. Actually, he reached on the ground ball that was pinned against the leg of Jace Peterson at second base after Uribe bobbled it at third. And Wood is going right after these guys. Very aggressive in the strike zone. 2 quick strikes. And he swings and misses. Alex Wood has had a great inning. That's 4 strikeouts for him. And the top of the Atlanta order is coming up in a scoreless game here at Turner Field. Maven and Freddie Freeman are coming up. Peterson hit the first pitch for a double. He took that one for ball 1.
Hey Chip, remember in the old days, hot summers in Atlanta, boy, it's sticky 93 degrees at game time. You might get a fan hooked up, in the booth and kind of cool you off.
Yeah.
Those were the good old days, weren't they?
Good old days indeed. Might even get a cup of ice water or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you're going so good, you have your own personal fanner over there.
Yeah, I've got a guy with a palm frond over here helping me out. Laser Baker.
Boy, that's living right there. Mm-hmm. Inside 3-2. Maybe you have to do it in a Skip voice to get the fan hooked up.
It's 9 billion degrees in here, and the air conditioning's not working, but don't let that bother us. We'll keep working and sweating away.
It'll keep my ears warm. This
Yeah.
headphone.
Right.
Oh, look.
There he is.
Hey. Dave Poole.
3-2 pitch.
That's what I've got working here in this seat. It's a little cool. That's better.
Full count pitch for Jace Peterson, and he takes a walk. He's done a nice job getting on base, hasn't he? Braves are 16-14 since he's moved to the #1 spot, and that's the first walk Jace has earned in this series. Let's see if the Braves can manufacture something and get a lead against Mr. Kelly.
He seems to have an uncanny ability to get that walk leading off an inning too. He's been very patient that way. Talked about his first pitch of the ball game hits lately. Okay, but otherwise he's been very patient working counts.
Good lead at first, not going. The pitch to Maben is called a strike. What was yesterday a crazy day around the major leagues?
Yeah, funny day, wasn't it?
Position players pitching all over big league baseball. As that one short hopped at the plate. Nice stop by Swihart. Jeff Francoeur came on and pitched last night for the Phillies. He pitched 2 innings in relief in Baltimore. He worked a perfect 7th. That was the first inning that the Phillies didn't allow a run against the Orioles, who hit 8 homers in that game. Franchise record. Then Jeff ran out of gas a little bit in the 8th inning. He threw 45 pitches. I believe it was in his 2 innings. Fly ball hit toward left. Hanley Ramirez barely had to move. He's got it, 1 out. And here it is. Let's check out the form of Jeff Francoeur, the ace reliever, getting tips from Jonathan Papelbon.
Check out this changeup. Nolan Reimold, take a seat. Knows how to cover first.
So that was the good part. But then in the 8th inning, he had a few issues, and the Phillies were frantically calling down to their bullpen to try to get Ken Giles up in the game. And they didn't realize that their bullpen phone was off the hook. So they're waving towels from the dugout, trying to get the relief corps' attention. And Francoeur stayed in and threw another 8-10 pitches. Chase Utley was not amused by that. He went to the mound and really was angry.
Well, he was lobbying for Jeff to get out of the game so he didn't hurt himself. That one was close.
Freddie the batter, 1 on, 1 out. And another throw to first. And for the Phillies, their newspapers today were saying that might be rock bottom for their ball club. They got annihilated in Baltimore by a 19-3 score. They had their first winless road trip of 8 or more games in 132 years.
Say that again.
The Philadelphia Phillies went 0-8 on their road trip to Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore. They went 0-8, which is the first time in 132 years that they had a road trip that long without even 1 win. No balls and a strike. Runner goes, and Freeman bounces one slowly toward Pedroia. Tricky spin, but he'll make the play, and Peterson's at second, and 2 men are out. There's also some talk that the Phillies might be contemplating an addition to their front office staff. It's no secret that Dave Montgomery has been ill.
Yeah.
Pat Gillick has taken over on a short-term basis to try to help him overcome his health issues. And that Andy McPhail might be the guy that is summoned by the Phillies to try to rebuild their team, their farm system, after the good work he did with the Twins, the Cubs, and the Baltimore Orioles. Here's Markakis with 2 out and a strike. Phillies are losing at home today. It's 2-1 in the 4th.
(19-3) the final yesterday.
Yeah. 0-1 and sprayed foul out of play. The Phillies in last place in the National League East.
Good numbers for Nick with runners in scoring position like several of his teammates. Francoeur pitching last night, got everybody's attention, of course, but he's having a good year. I think he's got more RBIs than Jason Hayward.
He does at the start of play today. Jeff with 21 RBIs, Hayward with 18 for the St. Louis Cardinals. And now Swihart out to talk about it on an 0-2 pitch. I guess the big question for the Phillies is, can they and will they pull the trigger on some of their big name players? Will Howard be there? Will Papelbon be there? Will Hamels be there? Would Chase Utley?
Well, they're going to have to eat money,
right,
if that happens.
Yeah.
So at least to this point, they have not been real eager to eat some of that money to get a restart.
0-2 pitch after the meeting and take it low. One bright spot is Michael Franco, their young third baseman who's come up. He's hit 7 homers for him. He came up May 15th, and the 7 homers is the second highest total in their club after starting the year at AAA. 1-2 from Markakis, and a breaking ball, fought it off. Good at bat continues for Nick here in the Braves third. No score. Braves and Red Sox.
.95. Nick a little late on a couple of those good fastballs. This guy's fastball doesn't seem to have a lot of movement. It's fairly straight, but it is hard.
Pitch number 6 for Markakis in the Atlanta third. And Swihart, a nice stop. That ball bounced a foot and a half in front of the plate.
Kept it in front of him. Right off the chest protector. Nicely done by the kid.
Roller toward first. Easy play for Napoli, and that retires the side. Braves get a leadoff walk. Can't advance Peterson, and we head to the 4th. No score. And he's the subject of our AT&T Uverse trivia question tonight. Of the last 6 years of interleague play, Nick Markakis ranked second with a .349 batting average. Who's first?
I think it's Pedroia, isn't it?
I think they were neck and neck.
Yeah.
With Nick slightly behind him, I think.
I'll go with Pedroia, and I'm not going to waver.
All right. You want to answer it now, or do you want to think about it?
If I think about it, I'll talk myself out of it.
Okay.
And then I'll have guesser's remorse.
So they're just taunting us with a question. We'll answer it in a little bit as Andy Ramirez goes to work for the Red Sox. He fly to straightaway center his first time up. A strike. Ramirez was brought up in the Boston organization. Was traded to the Marlins, who then traded him to the Dodgers, and then Boston signed this man to a 4-year, $88 million contract. And he bangs one through the left side for a leadoff single.
I'd be curious to know what his explanation would be for using the aluminum bat in batting practice. If it's something he thought would help him or help his confidence, I'd be curious to know.
So here's Pablo Sandoval. He's given up hitting right-handed, almost exclusively a lefty, and this has been an area of concern for the Braves all year.
Freddie Gonzalez was addressing this after yesterday's game. Overall, they're last in the major leagues of left-handed pitchers for the Braves against left-handed hitters.
And that was a big problem for Julio yesterday. Lefties are really wearing him out in rotation. 1 ball, 1 strike for Pablo Sandoval, who singled to start the Red Sox second. Good pitch. Toward third. Oh, tricky hop. That might have hit the lip of the grass and right through Juan Uribe. There's a bad break. And that's an error on Uribe. Let's take a look at what it hit.
I don't think that's his first error as a Brave, but it's the first one that was that blatant. And it just hugged the ground after the big hop. Yes, it did. That's exactly what it hit, Chip, right on the edge of the grass.
So it's set up for Mike Napoli, who walked back in the second. A single and an error, 2 on, nobody out. Napoli broke in with the Angels, then went to Texas. This is his 3rd year with the Red Sox. He's hit 49 homers the last 2+ seasons in Boston.
He's always had a big uppercut. And if you're not zeroed in timing wise, that's tough intersection on your uppercut with where the ball crosses the plate.
Napoli drove in 92 runs with the Red Sox in 2013. Big time run producer with the bases loaded the last 2 years. And one of 11 big leaguers with at least 17 homers in 7 consecutive seasons. He's over halfway there in the first 2.5 months. Ground ball from Wood would be nice here. Let's see what he has in store on a 1-1 pitch. And it's popped up. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Boston's hit into 59 double plays. Napoli's hit into 6. That's the second most on their club. Popped him up. In foul ground, Freddie Freeman will have an easy play. He's got it. And there's out number 1. And Mookie Betts is coming up.
So far, Alex has gotten some outs when he needed them, most particularly in the second inning. Second and third, 1 out. He struck out Swihart. He really needed that out. And now 2 on, nobody out. He gets tough hitter to pop up. So now a double play could get him out of the inning.
However, you've got the toughest man in the American League to double up standing in. Mookie Betts has not hit into a double play in 245 at bats. Michael Bourne of Cleveland is second in that category. Tell you what, Alex is going after these guys. He's pitched aggressively tonight. 44 pitches, 34 strikes.
I like the fact that he's trying to get strike 1 in there quickly.
Close play at second. The Braves have done a great job on the pickoff play for the most part. Yeah, there have been a few glitches, but the Braves have picked off 11 base runners this year. Woods had a few himself, especially at second base. In the air to right, playable for Markakis. He'll drift back. He makes the catch. Ramirez will tag and head to third. Throw in at second. They're at the corners with 2 outs. And here's Blake Swihart, the 8th place hitter, now with 2 down.
11 out of 16 first pitch strikes so far for Alex.
As Joe mentioned, Swihart not used to hitting with the pitcher batting behind him. A.J. Brzezinski with a reminder, you've got the pitcher behind Swihart and a base open here. That base happens to be second. Let's see how Alex goes after the Boston catcher here in a scoreless 4th. 0-1.
Something a little bit off the plate. 2-0. He might swing hard and hit it off the end of the bat. Good try. These are Kelly's first at bats of the year.
And 4 straight, loads him up. Second walk for Alex Wood. Now he's got the pitcher up there, but no place to put him.
He's thrown a lot of strikes tonight. I'm not too concerned about him having to pitch behind in the count to the pitcher. Just a matter of making him put the ball in play.
Which is what Kelly did in the second. A slow roller out to second base ended the Boston threat. And Drew, look it up for us. You know what opposing pitchers are hitting against Alex?
You know what? AJ's going out there to redirect Alex's thinking a little bit. You know, the fake bunt, he misses with a pitch, and Alex stood there. I don't know if he was upset about not getting the call or not. But A.J., a good trip out there to bark at him about, hey, quit worrying about the call, get the guy out.
Remember, he couldn't get Garrett Cole out. He walked him. That led to a big inning for the Pirates here at home. He's missed the ball too. Opposing pitchers are hitting .269 with 6 RBIs against Alex Wood this year.
Started with Bartolo Colon. Well, I said I wasn't worried about him throwing a strike.
He has to now, or he'll fall behind 1-0. Kelly wanted nothing to do with that pitch.
He'll be taking another one, so you literally have to throw 3 in a row.
There's 2 of them. Now the runners will be off with the pitch. Ramirez at third, Sandoval at second, Swihart from first. Ground ball to second. Peterson to his right. Settles and throws late at first. 1-0 Boston.
That wasn't on Jace Peterson. That was a credit and a tip of the cap to Joe Kelly. Guy can run. Hadn't factored that in. Jace took his time to get his feet under him because it's the pitcher, but the pitcher was flying down the line.
So 7 RBIs by opposing pitchers against Alex Wood this year, and the Red Sox have struck first on an infield hit. And now Pedroia, the batter, who takes a strike. Alex fell behind 3-0 to the Boston pitcher. Now the Red Sox fans make some noise. Wood about to make his 24th pitch. And Pedroia tipped it into Brzezinski's glove. And Ramirez has scored the game's first run. A bad bounce certainly helped Boston's cause. Ball that hit off the lip of the grass went through the legs of Juan Uribe. It would have been the first out of the inning. And now a fly ball center. That's playable for Cameron Maybin. And he's got it. Opposing pitchers have been the bane of Alex Wood this year. 7 RBIs by opposing moundsmen. 1 tonight gives Joe Kelly and the Red Sox a 4th inning lead. Terry Pendleton, who's offering some encouragement and advice for Jace Peterson as you look at the first run scoring play of the night.
If there was one thing he might want to change about it, it would be maybe to backhand it. But he worked hard to get over in front of the ball, and to do that it took him an extra step to get his feet under him. So that would be the only thing I can think of that Terry might have been suggesting to him. He could have perhaps backhanded the ball, planted and thrown a little quicker. But again, I give Kelly credit. He got down the line quickly.
I'm glad she loves the Braves. Let's see if Atlanta can get that run back as Juan Uribe leads things off. It's an unearned run, but it still leads to a Boston lead in the fourth. Uribe, Kelly Johnson, A.J. Pierzynski are coming up. Uribe struck out his first time up. Little clarification on that stat I gave a little while ago. We had Dave Baker look it up upstairs for us. It's not just pitchers that have driven home runs scoring hits against Alex Wood. As Uribe takes one right back through the box. Leadoff single. Ninth place hitters, and that could be pinch hitters, that could be DHs in the other league, etc., etc., have knocked in 7 runs. Still, though, out of the 9th spot in the batting order. That's
still a lot of pitchers.
Yeah. And a good start for the Braves here in the 4th. And Kelly Johnson is coming up.
Third leadoff man on out of 4 innings.
Peterson led off with a first inning double and a 3rd inning walk. Now Uribe a 4th inning single. Ball 1. Mets are losing in Toronto. That's 1-0 Jays in the 5th. Washington losing 2-0 to Tampa Bay. Those are the clubs directly in front of the Braves in the East. Miami's losing to the Yankees as well. That's at Yankee Stadium and in the 4th. Cue shot foul by Kelly. Even count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Best pitching matchup of the night comes in Seattle later on tonight. Madison Bumgarner against Felix Hernandez.
That's a beaut.
Popped up left side. Pablo Sandoval drifts out. He'll give way to the shortstop Bogarts in fair territory. There's out number 1.
Another good one in Cincinnati tonight. Johnny Cueto against David Price. Reds leading that one 2-0.
Right now the team you don't want to play is the White Sox. Or excuse me, the Pirates. Beg your pardon. Pittsburgh won 3-0 yesterday. They're winning 3-0 already in the 1st inning, and they've thrown 5 shutouts in their last 6 games. Problem for the Pirates is they're playing in the wrong division. They can't gain any ground. They've won 6 straight. The Cardinals have won 5 straight. And the Pirates are still 6 games out of first place and in second place in the National League Central. And we'll see the Pirates coming up on our next road trip. 0-1. And AJ sprays it foul. It's 0-2.
I was reading a story today about Adam Wainwright, whose rehab from his torn Achilles is coming along nicely, and he thinks as a goal that he might be able to come back and pitch before the end of the season, which is very ambitious in my opinion. But he also said it kind of hurts your feelings too, and your team hasn't missed you a bit while you've been gone.
Check swing by Pierzynski, and Swihart gloves it and flips high to first, but in time for the 2nd out. Cardinals have won 16 of their last 21 games.
See how the Red Sox play this with the pitcher on deck. Siriaco, 3 hits in his last 3 at bats against him.
pitch to hit. He fouled it away. Strike one. The Braves have stranded 4 men so far. They've had a runner in scoring position in every inning. So far offensively, the biggest play in the game came in the Atlanta first. Peterson led off with a double, and on a ground ball to the shortstop, tried to take third and was thrown out. And a shot over first. It's going to trickle into shallow right. Pedroia kicks it into right field further. Siriaco on his way to second. He's in safely, and the Braves have tied it on a blue pit. I can't believe they pitched to him.
You get greedy sometimes, and it comes back to bite you. Fastball, fought it off, had enough on it to get it over Pedroia's head, who was cheating up the middle, trying to hold the runner. And Pedroia tried to corral it, trying to force Uribe to stop at third, but couldn't come up with it cleanly.
It's a hit and an error and a tie game, and new life for Alex Wood, who has a home run cut and didn't get it. Strike one.
4 straight hits for Siriaco. Tell you what, for Pedro, it doesn't get to play too often. That's only 41 at bats, and he's got 7 RBIs. He's making the most of them.
He starts again for Andrelton Simmons, out with that sore hand. And the pitch is off the plate.
Talking to Red Sox folks, their shutdown innings are hard to come by, just like they are for Atlanta.
Both teams with a 4th inning run, tie game 1 apiece. Go ahead run in scoring position for Wood, who takes outside. Now it's 3-1 to the Braves pitcher.
Already 6 3-ball counts for Joe Kelly.
And he is soaking wet.
Yeah, you can work up a lather tonight in no time.
94 degrees at first pitch. Not much cooler now. 3-2 to Wood. He is over the outside corner, and that retires the side. A run on a couple of hits. A Pedroia error helped score Uribe, and we go to the 5th. Knotted up at 1.
Rockies. Right stuff, low price every day.
Surprised that cotton candy hasn't melted on a hot night in Atlanta. It really is a shock to the system, I'm sure, for the Red Sox players, our guys too. It was 52, 53 degrees on Monday night and pushing 100 in Atlanta for Game 3 of the series today.
And a lot of humidity today, too.
Got the fans on out in the fan plaza, trying to keep everybody cool and comfortable as Brock Holt leads things off for the Red Sox. Interesting bit of trivia about his cycle. He is the first player to hit a cycle against the Braves since Keith Hernandez, the former New York Mets first baseman. Many of you fans will instantly remember the game in which he did it. That went in for a strike. It was the infamous July 4th Rick Camp game.
So how many at-bats did it take him to get it?
I don't know the answer to that. We're going to have Dave look it up. All I know is that Ron Darling got the final outs in that ball game for the Mets, and he said when he walked into the locker room at the old ballpark at 2-3 in the morning, whenever it finally finished up, Ronnie said it looked like a frat party was in there. There was beer cans and chicken sandwich wrappers just covering the entire locker room, where John Holland made sure everybody was taken care of after the game. And that one into the camera well, and hopefully everybody's all right. That might have gotten the replay official. One, two.
Keith Hernandez had 10 at-bats that night.
10?
Yes. He was 4 for 10 with a couple of walks. So 12 plate, 1 walk, 11 plate appearances.
That's great. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Holt tipped it. It was caught by Przinsky, and he struck out. So Holt 1 for 3. And a good start for Alex in the 5th.
Maybe he's cooled off a little bit.
5th strikeout for Alex. And here's Xander Bogaerts. Red Sox have not been a good road team. They're 12-20 away from Fenway Park. They've lost 6 consecutive games away from home. They've lost 10 of 11 on the road. In their 6-game road losing streak, they've scored a total of 14 runs. They've got 1 tonight. That's the biggest mystery of all. I don't think anybody thought that the Red Sox offense would be problematic in 2015. It has been. Bouncing ball high over third and foul. Even count. And of course, in interleague play, the National League teams have a big advantage in their home park. One, the American League teams' pitchers have to hit, something they almost never do. And they also lose their designated hitter. In this case, that's David Ortiz. However, the manager can use Ortiz anytime he wants in a late game situation against either Alex Wood or Braves relief pitcher.
Not a good trade-off, losing your DH for the pitcher. John Farrell was a good major league pitcher. He was also the pitching coach for Terry Francona in Boston before getting the job as the manager in Toronto. And as I recall, didn't the Red Sox give some compensation to the Blue Jays to try to hire him away, bring him back to Boston?
Ground ball toward third. That is a fair ball. Good play, Uribe. Look at the throw. He took care of Bogaerts with a nifty play at the line. And that's out number 2.
That one was right over the bag. Plant and throw on target.
I know that he had said that the Boston job was his dream job as a manager. That was while he was still skippering the Toronto Blue Jays, which makes John rather unpopular north of the border, as heated as the rivalry is between the Jays and Red Sox. And yes, there was compensation. for John Farrell. The Red Sox sent Mike Aviles and received David Carpenter for John Farrell. Two balls, no strikes for Hanley Ramirez. And now 2-1. According to the Red Sox media guide, Farrell became the 7th manager in Major League history acquired by a club while under contract to another. I believe the last one before Farrell was Lou Piniella. Popped up, out of play. Ramirez now a 2-2 count with the wood bat. Here's what he did in batting practice with the aluminum bat.
Yeah, it wasn't hard to get our attention when we kept hearing that noise. But he really, all he was doing was seeing how far he could hit it in BP today. And he could hit it a long way.
2-2 pitch and popped up.
David Ortiz hit one that bounced up on the concourse toward the chop house. It bounced up and hit the blue banner that says celebrating 50 years in Atlanta. It almost bounced up into the second level of the chop house.
That just missed the inside corner. Well, I'm sure that's all fun and games, but we saw what happened to Alex Wood during BP in Boston. If one of the Red Sox team members isn't paying attention and they get poked with a line drive off the aluminum bat, that could be awfully tragic.
For the last 6 hitters, 3-ball count for Alex.
And it'll hopscotch into the seats. We'll do it again, full count.
That cranks up your pitch count. Hanley Ramirez can hit. There's never been any question of that. The only question is, does he want to play?
Well, the Red Sox have 4 years to find out. Full count. Again into the seats. That one in the first row.
Glad everybody's okay. That one, right in the arm.
Ramirez will see a 9th pitch.
33 pitches total to those 6 hitters that have had. 4 of them have had 3-ball counts.
One of them, the Red Sox pitcher, Joe Kelly. Base is empty, 2 outs, tie game at 1. And Hanley not going quietly here. Remember, he made it out on the first pitch he saw tonight. Bouncing ball to third. Uribe's got it. And no need for an 11th pitch to retire Hanley Ramirez. Alex Wood has a 1-2-3 5th, and the top of the order coming up for the Braves. We're tied at 1. of the 5th inning. Let's check out tonight's Toyota Key play of the game. And a shot over first. It's going to trickle into shallow right. Pedroia kicks it into right field further. Ciriaco on his way to second. He's in safely, and the Braves have tied it on a blue pit. I can't believe they pitched to him.
One of the things that was instrumental there, watching that replay that I didn't see before, was how hard Uribe was hustling. Once he saw Ciriaco head to second, he had to get home before they made a play on Ciriaco in case they called him out. He had to make sure he was across the plate.
And it all worked out for the Braves as Jace Peterson starts things off for Atlanta. He's doubled and walked, so perfect night at the plate so far. Jace has hit now in 10 of his last 11 Braves games. And outside, even count. Straightened him up inside, and it missed. It's 3-1. To second. That kicked up some dirt on the infield, and Peterson's retired for the first time. There's out number 1. I don't know if that's sand or just infield dirt that maybe blades of grass as that ball was sharply hit. We saw the liquid rooster tails up in Boston on Monday with the wet infield. Little dust devil there off the bat of Jace Peterson for the first out. Here's Maben. Ball, 1 strike. Wonder how many uniforms the starting pitchers will go through on a night like this.
I was just thinking how Kelly's not showing any signs of wilting. He's pitched before that curveball was 97. Yeah, Fred Stone's probably having to throw an alternating shirt into the dryer just to warm it up for him.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Yeah. There's a strike. Kelly's born in Anaheim, California, lives in Corona, California. Fred, make sure you leave out the Downy. Base is empty. 1 out for Maben. Pitch is low and away. Full count.
Went to University of California at Riverside. Was a 3rd round pick by the Cardinals in 09. Riverside used to have a really good big college tournament. I don't know if they still do.
Slow roller back to the mound. Kelly pounced in, threw a fastball to first. Napoli might want to check the webbing on that seed and the second out. Not an easy at bat when you face Joe Kelly of the Red Sox. He actually throws harder than Garrett Cole of the Pirates on average. That's hard to believe.
Yeah, I said 4th. He's actually tied for 3rd with Ventura. Braves will see Matt Harvey this weekend, right?
Finally on Sunday. In fact, we'll see DeGrom, Syndergaard, and Matt Harvey for the Mets. Harvey was brilliant yesterday. He and Bobby Parnell combined to take care of Toronto. Parnell, we've had a multi-inning save for the Mets. A 1 pitch and fouled away.
That's a good breaking ball. I mean, he's using it like a changeup at 78. That's almost 20 miles an hour slower than his fastball.
So this young man's not just up there heaving fastballs. He's pitching.
Straight change up a little harder.
1-2 count. And he just struck out Freeman on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. This duel continues. Good pitching by Alex Wood and Joe Kelly. 6th inning now, 1-1 game. For the next 5 games, every hit counts. From today's game through Sunday, the ticket office will be tallying the number of Braves hits recorded, and every hit will earn you a percentage off all single game tickets when the Braves take on the Nationals and Phillies June 30th through July 5th. You heard that right. Every hit counts. Go to Braves.com/hits to learn more.
So if like the total number of hits between now and Sunday is 30, it's 30% off.
Every ticket.
Okay.
If you get 100 hits.
Let's hope it's more than 30.
Right. I mean, if you get 100 hits in those 5 games, there'll be free tickets.
Wow. I like that.
Right now, the Braves have 4 hits. So do the Red Sox. Both teams have a run. And we head to the 6th inning with Pablo Sandoval.
Just take 20 hits a game.
Right?
Come on. I'd have to rally to get there today.
No balls and a strike. What do you think the Red Sox are thinking about Sandoval's decision to hit just left-handed? I mean, one of the things that made him such a special player was one of the best switch hitters in the National League.
Yeah, I'm sure they were taken by surprise on that. But when he's 2 for 41 right-handed, they probably didn't object too much.
They'll probably object to that swing as Wood made him look bad with his 6th strikeout. First time Sandoval's been retired tonight. Going away.
Nice spot with that off-speed pitch.
One away for Mike Napoli, who's walked and popped out.
You know, when Joe Kelly's rifling those throws over to first base to Napoli, it's a good thing he's a former catcher, or can catch in a pinch if you need him to.
Up and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Toronto 2-0 over the Mets in the 7th. Tampa Bay 3-0 over Washington in the 7th. Braves again begin play within striking distance in the East. They're 4.5 games out of first place, and they've got the Mets coming in over the weekend. Fly ball well hit left center field. That one's not coming back. Mike Napoli has broken the tie with a solo homer.
Didn't need an aluminum bat, did he?
He did not. That got out of here in a big hurry. That is the 5th home run allowed by Alex Wood. The 10th hit by Napoli, and the Red Sox lead 2-1.
Alex knew it. AJ knew it. And so did Mike Napoli.
Well, the Braves bats have to go back to work, and Wood's got to retire Mookie Betts. He's got a sacrifice and a flyout. Good change, 0-2.
So after an 0 for 18 stretch, Napoli 3 for 5 with a double and a homer against the Braves since snapping out of it.
That's good news for the Red Sox, who, after wrapping things up tomorrow night with the Braves, head to Kansas City to face the AL champs and the American League All-Star team. Bouncing ball, foul at third. They're back home then to face Baltimore. Then they've got Tampa Bay and Toronto, and that gets them into the first days of July. This is a critical stretch of games for Boston. The Red Sox, as we've said, last place in the East, 8 games out of first, and 6 games behind Baltimore and Toronto. Popped up, deep second. In comes Markakis in shallow right. He's got that. 2 outs. Nick Markakis chasing down a milestone tonight. I think if he gets through this one without an error, he ties Darren Lewis for that errorless streak. Major League record is 392 games held by Darren Lewis. Markakis currently at 391 straight without an error. And here's Blake Swihart. A little late, 0-2. And that'll end the inning. Mike Napoli hit a long homer to left center, his 10th of the year. That gives Boston and Joe Kelly a slim 2-1 lead. night. Tickets are only $20 with $10 of added value included, and you'll get to sit in the new college section. Students also get to run the bases after the game. You heard that right. Don't miss out on these special nights at Turner Field. Space is limited. Go to braves.com/college now.
Get to watch the college guys run the bases and gals. Sunday, fathers and kids get to run the bases, right?
That's right, on Father's Day. Do we know where the college section is?
I don't know.
I've not heard where that'll be. That'll be fun tomorrow night. As Shelby Miller will pitch for the Braves. Joe Kelly staked to a 1-run lead, courtesy of Mike Napoli's long homer. It's 2-1 Red Sox. And Anthony's good pitch. Not sure about that.
Caught the bottom part of the zone.
And it's headed for the stands. It's still 0-2. Regular season pitch count high for Kelly is 118. He did that on April 17th. In fact, that was the second most pitches in a single game he's ever thrown in the big leagues. He scattered 4 hits. He stranded 5 Braves base runners. He struck out 3 men. And he's about to make his 92nd pitch on a hot night. Two balls, 2 strikes. Action is beginning in the Red Sox pen as Markakis takes up and away.
Well, he ran into trouble in the 6th inning in his last start. So they're wary of that, and they've got the lead, so they don't want a blow-up inning, since he's had some trouble with shutdown innings before.
And that's what makes Nick Markakis such a valuable hitter. That's his 37th walk. Far and away the most on the Braves club. In fact, Nick has walked 37 times. He struck out only 35 times, and he represents the tying run. Carl Willis, the 2nd pitching coach of the year for the Red Sox, talks to his bullpen. 3 walks for Joe Kelly. Here's Uribe, who struck out, singled, and scored.
Well, he waited on that off-speed pitch, and he was looking for it, but missed it. Hanging curveball. Ooh.
And a 95-mile-an-hour fastball and an elite swing. It's 0-2. Uribe came into this game hitting .328 since putting on a Braves uniform. He's 1 for 2 tonight.
One of the things he does is he gets up off his right heel. He kind of digs a little toe hole, gets that right toe in there, but it allows him, if he needs to turn on the ball and open up a little bit, get those hips open a little quicker, he can pivot on that right foot because his heel's up off the ground.
Well, for a man that was almost a forgotten man on the Dodger bench, he's really stepped in and played great for the Braves. You see that back heel for Uribe. 1-2 count. And he didn't swing. It's now 2-2.
Pretty much stayed away from that curveball since he got away with that hanger.
Three and two. Well, do you want to make something happen here with Uribe and Markakis?
You got Kelly Johnson on deck. I think I might wait, give Kelly that opportunity to hit with a runner at first base and a hole on the right side, just in case things don't go right here.
He's going, and the pitch bounced up the middle right to Pedroia, who played it to the side, and it's off the heel of his glove. All hands are safe. So a couple of plays for Pedroia have benefited the Braves batsmen. 2 on and nobody out.
And with the heat and humidity, that's going to be enough for John Farrell to get Kelly out of the game. He's trying to take an in-between hop so that he can be in a position to step on the bag, and he got nothing. It'll go as a hit.
So the Braves have 2 on. They have nobody out. Kelly Johnson's coming up, and the Red Sox are in their bullpen.
AT&T Uverse, Delta Airlines, and your local Ford dealer.
On a hot night in Atlanta, the Braves are trying to wear down the Boston Red Sox pitching staff, a situation that's been wearing on John Farrell all year.
Yeah, their ERA next to last in Major League Baseball. Starters next to last. Bullpen a little bit better than that. A lot of home runs given up. We saw Robbie Ross the other night, and he did a pretty good job. He came in, gave up a base hit to Jace Peterson, but then got a double play ball. Also gave up a hit to Uribe the next inning and a hit to A.J. Przinsky in the ninth. You'll see 2 lefties due up here now for the Braves in Johnson and Przinsky.
Ross will turn 26 in a week. He's from Lexington, Kentucky. Braves have a big threat. Boston thinks Kelly will bunt, and no sign of it on the first pitch inside. A walk and an infield hit has it set up. He's flashed out a play foul. Robbie Ross made the Rangers opening day roster for the third straight season last year, was a starting pitcher for them. In his first 3 starts, he gave up 2 earned runs in 18 innings with 13 strikeouts. But then in late April and May, couldn't win. 0-4 and an ERA approaching 7. And went to Round Rock. It's back and forth between AAA and the big leagues, much like this season. This is his 5th stint with the Red Sox at the major league level this year. And he just struck out Kelly Johnson. There's out number 1. Always important to get that first man, and Ross did just that. Now another lefty, A.J. Przinsky's up. Almost hit him. Ball 1. Sharply hit, and Pedroia smothered that. The flip to second for 1, and Przinsky beat the wrap at first base. Dustin Pedroia is betwixt and between on those plays at second base tonight. He got the forced second, but Atlanta's inning is still alive with men at the corners.
Makes you wonder if that knee might be part of this. The one that kept him out of the lineup yesterday. That couldn't have felt good rolling on the baseball. But AJ hustled down to avoid the double play, and that'll do it for Ross.
So Ross departs. Siriaco is coming up with the pitcher following him. 2-1 Boston.
Georgia Power, Zaxby's, and Ram Trucks. Guts, Lori, Ram.
Braves fans, for the next 5 games, every hit counts. From tonight through Sunday, the ticket office will be tallying the number of Braves hits, and every hit will earn you a percentage off all single game tickets when the Braves take on the Nationals and Phillies June 30th through July 5th. You heard that right. Every hit counts. Visit Braves.com/hits to learn more. 5 hits for the Braves so far tonight. And we'll see their third pitcher of the inning for the Red Sox. It's veteran Alexi Ogando.
He came in and cleaned things up in the 9th inning a couple of nights ago, and the Braves won 4-2. Got a strikeout and a double play ball.
Ogando's an amazing story. He was a position player and could really run. A lot of stolen bases in his minor league days in the Dominican Summer League.
Fastball, cutter, slider.
And there's the slider, strike one. In 2006, he hit .250. Converted to a pitcher. He went 5-0. In fact, his first 2 years, he was 11-1 in 31 games as a pitcher. Then had visa issues in 2008. Got to the big leagues in 2010 with Texas. And that's under the glove of the shortstop. A base hit. Markakis scores the game-tying run. So the leadoff walk to Markakis turns into run number 2 for Atlanta. Ciriaco with a base hit. He's 3 for 3. And that takes Alex Wood off the hook, and Johnny Gomes will bat for him.
And he's 5 for his last 5. And on a tough pitch, pulls it in the hole. So what a great job by Ciriaco filling in for Andrelton Simmons. Both runs driven in tonight by Pedro. I'm voting for Pedro.
Give him some tots. Here's Johnny Gomes, former Red Sox. Really touched by the reception the Fenway faithful gave him. Popped back toward us and into the seats foul. It's strike one. Gomes part of an excellent bench brigade for the Braves. They've done excellent work. 24 hits and 90 at bats as a club with 4 pinch hit homers. Gomes is 5 for 15 as he hits for Alex Wood. Gondo wants to talk it over.
Not only could Alex be taken, has he been taken off the hook, he could be the pitcher of record with the lead if Johnny can get a base hit here.
95 pitches for Alex over his 6 innings. Only one of his 2 runs allowed was an earned run. Brzezinski at second, Ciriaco at first, and the 1-1 pitch coming for Gomes. Nasty. 1-2.
Little things like AJ hustling down the line to avoid that double play kept the inning alive.
That's slicing foul, and Gomes will head to the plate again. 1-2.
We've seen a lot of that type of play this year from the Braves as well.
Yeah, they will be exasperating, they'll be exhilarating, but they'll always play hard. We've noticed that from the opening bell down in Miami. And a lot of it has to do with what this guy's brought to the clubhouse. He demands it of himself and his teammates, and they've responded. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And it's even. Innocent looking leadoff walk has led to a long inning for the Braves. Swing and a miss. Gomes is retired, and the Braves are done in the 6th inning. But they cash in that free pass to Nick Markakis, and we head to the 7th. Now a 2-2 score. Base on balls and scored the tying run. And Nick is also the subject of our AT&T Universe trivia question. Over the last 6 years of interleague play, Markakis ranks second with a .349 average. Who ranks first in interleague action?
Sticking with Pedroia.
I think you're right. And we're wrong.
I think that's wrong. Just saying.
Yeah.
And we got some odd changes here.
Yeah.
And some that cause for concern. Not that Johnny is cause for concern, but Kelly Johnson stays in the game, moves from left to first base. And Nick Massett, the new pitcher, will bat third in Freddie Freeman's spot. Hope Freddie's okay.
He leaves after an 0-for-3 game. And Rusney Castillo will be the Boston pinch hitter here in the 7th inning. Castillo, another big ticket acquisition by the Red Sox. They gave him 7 years and $72.5 million. And he takes a strike.
Nick Massett has strung together some real good outings. His last 3 zeros across, no walks, couple of strikeouts.
And he should be off to a good start with a good throw. And he is. Uribe makes the play, 1 out.
In fact, he's made it 5 straight outings without a run.
So here's Pedroia. He's 0-for-3 tonight. Pedroia at 309 now. And that's in for a strike. Massett, the second Braves pitcher to work after 6 innings from Alex Wood. And that's taken low. It's 2-1. Ichi Tazawa's up for the Red Sox. We saw him yesterday. Sharply hit. Uribe dives to his left, gathers, throws, and Kelly the scoop. What a play.
Good play on both corners. Ball was hit hard, and after he knocked it down, he never did lose control of it. He just had to get to his feet, and Kelly with a nice pick. Outstanding play again by Uribe.
Top fielding percentage among all big league third basemen since 2011. That honor is owned by Juan Uribe. Nice play. Here's Brock Holt. He singled and struck out twice. And a sinking strike. Made the point earlier, and you're right. Braves have gotten ahead of these Red Sox hitters virtually all night tonight.
Been aggressive. It's good to see.
Nothing in 2. And right back where it came from. It almost hit the second base bag.
Another 0-2 hit to Holt, though.
And a few of those, haven't there?
Yeah, that's at least 3 in the last 2 games. That one was a breaking ball. Looked like it was trying to. It was a curveball. It just had too much of the plate. Hockey season's over, so the skate save didn't work.
Here's Xander Bogaerts. That's a little low. 1 ball, no strikes. To short. Siriaco handles and flips to second in time, and Massett an impressive 7th inning. Time to stretch in Atlanta. Good ball game. Braves trying to break a 2-2 tie.
The Georgia Lottery and Toyota.
As we celebrate 50 years of Braves baseball in Atlanta, you saw that uniform. That was the uni worn by starting pitcher Andy Messersmith. And that season, Ted Turner decided to put the players' nicknames on the backs of their jerseys. And he gave Andy Messersmith number 17 and decreed that your nickname will be Channel to promote the superstation WTBS.
That didn't last long.
No.
The old commissioner stepped in on that one. Second appearance for Tazawa in this series. Worked an inning and 2/3 yesterday. Gave up a base hit, struck out a batter. Actually struck out 2 batters. 32nd appearance. Good fastball, live arm, low to mid 90s, slider, curve, and a split finger pitch.
And he faces the top of the Braves order in the 7th. Peterson, Maben, and then we'll see. Nick Nassett, the pitcher, hitting in Freeman's spot. Freddie left before the top of this 7th inning. Interesting stat from the Red Sox media notes. He, speaking of Tozawa, has made 13 perfect appearances this year. That's the most among any of their relievers. This is their 67th game. Doesn't sound like a lot. 1-0 pitch. Fly ball toward right. Brock Holt on the run. A tentative route, but he got there for the first out. Castro's grabbed a bat. He's on deck. He would hit after Cameron Maben.
Yeah, Massett was moved into the 3rd spot in the order. Freeman's spot when he was taken out of the game.
Into the seats, right side on the play. Big crowd tonight at Turner Field. Haven't gotten the attendance count. Red Sox always a big draw here in Atlanta. It'll be the same when the Yankees come to town later in the summer. And
hopefully it'll be the same this weekend with the Mets in town.
Yeah. 3 good pitching matchups with the first place Mets. 0-1 for Maben. 2-2 game in the 7th.
Pause at the top. Then he jumps at you, and then he delivers that right over the top curveball. It's hard to stay back.
And that grunt, I'm sure, makes it even more difficult for the hitter. Something Jason Grilli does when he pitches for the Braves.
Swihart was asking if that ball in the dirt. He was tapping the ground with his glove, and be careful what you ask for, because that one bounced a little short of the plate and hit him in about 5 spots.
So he's Blake Swihart right now. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Broken bat at short. Barehanded play. Throw to first is dropped. Maben is safe. He hustles down the line and is aboard with 1 out.
That was a tremendous play by Bogaerts. Ball was still rolling at a pretty good pace when he barehanded it. And a ball that Napoli would like to have another crack at. He probably should have made this play. It's ruled a base hit. Oh, did that even hit the ground? That didn't hit the dirt, did it?
I don't think so. So Daniel Castro will debut. As Joe said, he hit .389 at AA. Hit .286 at AAA. He takes a ball high.
It's from a beautiful city, Guaymas. How we pronounced Guaymas in Mexico, right on the Gulf, excuse me, on the ocean side of Mexico.
He's the 42nd player used by the Braves this year. How many players the Braves used last season? 39. We're not out of June yet.
Yeah. Well, he's got a lucky number. That was Martin Prado's old number. Andres Galarraga. Maybe it'll serve him well.
1 ball, 1 strike. Maben a good lead.
Danielson's way off the plate. He actually, after he signed with the Braves, spent a year and a half playing in the Mexican League before he was brought back to play at Lynchburg. Played for Saltillo. I just like saying Saltillo.
Isn't that
So I thought I'd mention it.
Are those the serape makers?
They might be.
I think that's the name of the team in Saltillo. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner goes, and a bouncing ball poked to the right side by Castro, and Maben on his way to third. Perfectly executed by Daniel Castro, and he'll want that baseball.
You know what? That is such a great thing for a guy whose calling card is probably contact, putting the ball in play, and he does it on a hit and run. That is beautiful. First big league at bat, and he executes a perfect hit and run. Stands well off the plate. A little inside out.
And
he's on the board.
And a Martin Prado-like hit.
Yeah.
So now it sets up nicely for Nick Markakis, first and third with 1 out in the 7th inning. Markakis walked and scored the tying run an inning ago. So to go on the mantle of Daniel Castro. And Tazawa in some 7th inning trouble. Inside, ball 1. He throws that split. You know, Maben's got to look alive at third base and think about charging down on a ball in the dirt. Gets away from the Boston catcher. And a base hit to left. Markakis breaks the tie. Three consecutive singles for the Braves, and Markakis with RBI number 21 makes it a 3-2 game.
And it looked like a pitch away from him that he went the other way with it. Target was away, sinker away, not even sure it was a strike, and right through the hole. So the hit and run, a big play here, but also the missed throw at first base. You know, when Bogarts made that throw, I thought he threw it low like a short hop, but the replay, Napoli. Let's watch this again. He just flat out boinked it. I mean, it was off the heel of his glove. Mercy.
Can you give him a pass ball on that play? Man, thank you very much. So Nick Markakis, here's a stat for you: 75 hits now. 29 of the 75 have gone to left field. And his opposite field single puts the Braves in front. And Juan Uribe bats. He's 2 for 3. Upstairs, ball 1. Johnson pacing in the Braves bullpen. He's getting ready for the top of the 8th. 3-0. Markakis at first, Castro at second. 3 straight Braves hits with 1 out in the inning.
Uribe doesn't mind that, even if he thought it might have been a ball, because he wants to hit.
And that missed low. So the bases are loaded for the Braves.
PNC Bank box tracks right at the bottom of the strike zone. Tazawa wanted the call, didn't get it. Hard to make that pitch look like a strike at the bottom of the zone if you're the catcher. You've still got to make sure you catch it, but your glove's going to take it down, and then you got to come back up, and you rarely get that call.
Second at bat of the year for Kelly Johnson with the bases loaded. He's looking for his first hit of the night. He's been excellent with runners in scoring position, hitting .343. A hit would be great. The Braves would settle for a deep fly ball here.
Left-hander Tommy Lane loosening up in their bullpen, but not brought in to pitch to Kelly Johnson.
No balls and a strike. And now 0-2. Castro with his first big league hit stands at third. Markakis at second, Uribe at first, and the 0-2 pitch for Kelly Johnson. They're coming in. They got it there, but it was too tight. 1-2.
He's got a good enough fastball to do that. 95 earlier in the count. That was 94. He's had Kelly reaching for that split finger pitch, though. Let's see if he goes back to it.
There's the ball to the dirt, but it popped to the Red Sox on deck circle area.
That hurt. That was bare skin somewhere, either his forearm or his bicep. He's trying to shake it off. Saved a run. Nice play. Here we go. Yeah, off the bicep.
The 2-2. Missed inside. Tazawa thinks he's getting squeezed here. Another lefty, A.J. Przinsky, waits on deck. Tazawa will fire a full count pitch.
Sitting on fastball, I'm sure. Hoping to get one that he can turn on.
Roller toward first. They're coming home. Throw short hops, and the force is in time to get Castro. Nice play by Swihart to handle a bad throw from Napoli.
Well, Tazawa almost got in the way. He was running over to cover first if needed and didn't think about the play coming home, and he had to hit the deck. So he's breaking over there, and then look out. Nice catch by Swihart, like you said, on the short hop.
So he got Kelly Johnson to bounce to first. He got the play at the plate to cut off a fourth Atlanta run. And now the left-hander is going to come on and face A.J. Pierzynski, we presume. We'll see if Freddie Gonzalez makes a move, try to squeeze out a second run in the inning. It's 3-2 Braves.
The Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
Braves fans, tonight only thanks to the Braves Steal of the Week. Get $10 off an outfield seat when the Braves take on the Red Sox and the Mets. Running all the way through the weekend here in Atlanta. Visit Braves.com/steal for this great offer, but you must buy today. And it will be a lefty-lefty matchup. Pierzynski will hit for the Braves with bases loaded, 2 outs, and left-hander Tommy Lane is on for the 26th time.
Lefty's only hitting 146 against him, 6 for 41, and he's struck out 14 batters in his last 8 2/3 innings. Fastball, slider, high 80s, low 90s.
How about that arm action?
Yeah, hard to pick up.
Lane has been with the Diamondbacks and Padres organizations. The Red Sox signed him as a minor league free agent. And just missed with ball 2. He's out of St. Charles, Missouri. 2 balls, no strikes. One good enough. It's 2-1. Lane's big league debut came with the Padres in 2012. He pitched in 26 games that year. And it was a memorable big league debut.
Why would, excuse me, Chip, why would you drop down there with the bases loaded when you're having trouble throwing strikes and you throw ball 3 with that?
Don't know. 3-1 pitch. And he just walked in a run.
AJ never had to take the bat off his shoulder.
Nope. And he was smart not to do it. So that brings in Markakis. Second walk of the inning, first by Lane, whose big league debut came against the Braves in Atlanta on August 14th. He struck out the first 3 big league hitters he saw. Remember that?
Yes. Yeah, I do. I just thought that was kind of odd. He was behind 2-0, threw a strike, and then it was like, okay, now I'm going to show you my real good stuff, and dropped down and went to 3-1.
So it's a 4-2 game for the Braves, who have 9 hits. Don't forget our every hit counts offer. Keep piling them up. The Braves hit, you save. scoring change in the 4th inning when Ciriaco batted. It was ruled a single E4. Take away the error, give Ciriaco a double. So he's got an extra base hit as well tonight. And popped out of play. Even count. 1 ball, 1 strike. What a luxury it is to have a bench like Freddie Gonzalez has this year. That's a luxury he did not have last year. One of his regulars went out. It was a struggle to get offense. That's not been the case for Ciriaco. Big game in Boston yesterday. A bigger game for the Braves at home tonight. Subbing for Andrelton Simmons.
Pedro may have caught a break there, and now the Boston dugout is all over Larry Vanover, who just threw John Farrell out of the game.
And here he comes storming down the first base line to talk with crew chief Larry Vanover. This started in the 1st and 2nd inning.
We haven't seen one of your rhubarbs in a long time this year.
Won't know until after the game, but this might have less to do with the fact that that wasn't called a strike as it was that the Braves had a base runner called safe on a play at first base that Farrell could not appeal. Remember, he challenged a call early in the game, lost the appeal, lost the right to take a look at replay on that close play at first base, which was made by Larry Vanover.
It all added up. And Pedro got quite a break there.
So Farrell ejected from the game. 2 balls and a strike. I don't believe there was an appeal made on that call. It was called at the plate. That might have been what frustrated John too.
No, he did.
Did he appeal? Okay, beg your pardon. And it went against the Red Sox. 2-1. And now 3 balls and a strike. And now Pedro can have a teacup-sized strike zone if he wants. Brave at every base. Uribe, Kelly Johnson, A.J. Przinsky. 2 runs across for the Braves in the 7th. Fly ball left center. And Mookie Betts has it, and that'll retire the side. Atlanta puts together a nice rally in the 7th. 2 runs, 3 hits, 2 walks, and a rhubarb 2. We go to the 8th. All-Star Game ballot now at Braves.com. If you have a telestrator at home, you can vote the way Joe is. If you don't, though, voting is exclusively online and available on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. Vote up to 35 times at Braves.com for your Atlanta Braves. And I think that does officially count as a vote for Cameron Maybin.
Well, might as well. Everything else does.
Yeah. Especially in Kansas City. How about that?
Yeah.
Be great for their fans. They're fired up for the Royals, and they're playing by the rules, but they have 8 of the American League starters at the last tabulation. Here's Jim Johnson. He's on a terrific roll for the Braves.
Yeah, he and Massett have been really good. Let's see, 4 straight outings of 4 innings total, 1 hit, shutout baseball, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Gotten his ERA down under 3.
So keep it rolling. Manny Ramirez, belt high strike, and he is behind in the count. Ramirez 1 for 3 with 1 of the 2 Boston runs that came in the 4th. Their other run came on a Napoli home run in the 6th off Alex Wood. There's a break. That was fouled away. Johnson wants to make sure of the count. It's on the board 0-2. Braves got to Junichi Tozawa for 2 runs in his 2/3 of an inning. To the right side. Kelly Johnson has it. Jim Johnson steps on the bag. 1 out.
Nicely done by Kelly, who hasn't played over there very much, if at all. But always takes some ground balls. Played over there in some in the spring, and a perfect feed.
So Johnson and Johnson out to start the 8th. And here's Pablo Sandoval. Pablo has singled. He's reached on an error and he has struck out. Braves trying to hand the Red Sox their 7th straight road defeat. Also trying to gain ground in the division. Toronto beat down the Mets 8-0 at Rogers Center. Washington was shut out at home by, or is being shut out at home by Tampa Bay in the 9th, 5-0. Up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Yankees are beating Miami 2-1, and the Phillies lost at home to Baltimore.
A little high and tight.
And foul to the left. It's 1-2 for Pablo Sandoval. All David Ortiz can do is watch and wait. No DH in the National League parks. But if they get a man on and their lineup moves to the bottom of the order, the Red Sox can go to Big Papi if needed. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He loves National League Baseball. Day off.
1-2 pitch. And a base hit past Uribe. So Sandoval with 2 strikes is aboard for the 3rd time. And here is Mike Napoli representing the tying run.
He hit a lightning bolt out of here in the 6th inning off Alex Wood. And no doubter. His 10th of the year.
He's also walked and popped out. And a strike. In case you wondered when the last time David Ortiz played defensively in a National League park, it happened this year, April 9th, when the Red Sox played the Phillies. How odd is that? Bouncing ball toward third. There's one at second. Plenty of time at first. Johnson got the sinker to work, and he got inning double play. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Braves in control. It's 4-2. Joe, it's time for tonight's great clip of the game. You always remember your first.
Beautifully executed hit and run. Sent Maben around to third base. And a collector's item for him.
First major league hit. In front of a 2-run Brave 7th. And now in the home 8th. Atlanta will take a look at veteran left-hander Craig Breslow.
Craig hasn't been out there in a while. His last outing was June 4th. He was on paternity leave and just was activated at the beginning of this series with Atlanta. His numbers for the year, a few walks in there, 10 and 22 plus innings. But he and his wife, proud parents for the first time of twin boys just a few days ago.
As a father of 15-year-old twin boys, here's my advice for you, Craig. Sleep often.
Wherever and whenever.
You bet. Congratulations. What a thrill that must be. And Breslow will face the 9-1-2 hitters for the Braves. That'll be Gomes, Chase Peterson, and Cameron Maben. 4 runs, 9 hits for the Braves, who've left 10 on base. 2 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Red Sox. They've stranded 7.
If you've never seen Breslow pitch before, haven't heard us talk about him. He went to Yale, and he was voted by the Wall Street Journal in 2009 as the smartest man in baseball. And then in 2010 by the Sporting News, ranked first on the top 20 smartest athletes in any sport.
Well, when you graduate with a degree in molecular biophysics and biochemistry, I don't know of many other Major League Baseball players who have that on their diploma.
He's deferred his acceptance into medical school for a while. Remains to be seen if he would go back after his career.
It's either that or chase the Twins around. Medical school might be easier. As Johnny Gomes will face him first. Johnny struck out in the Braves 6th. And up upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes.
I went in to see Breslow before the game and took some research to him that I'd been working on.
Did you?
And he said, I've never seen anything like this before.
So pray tell, what was that research?
Well, it was molecular biophysics.
Biophysics, yeah. Okay. 1 ball, 1 strike. And outside it's 2-1.
I'd go into it, but you wouldn't get it, so really no point.
2 balls and a strike for Johnny Gomes. Nobody on or out. I have enough trouble with left center and right center. Let's just keep it simple.
Well, you've always heard that saying, it's above your pay grade.
Yeah.
It's not above your pay grade. It's just above your grade.
Hey, I took 5th 4 times. Don't count me out. 3 balls and a strike. And ball 4. A little more offense wouldn't hurt the Braves. Leadoff walk. And we go back to the top. And Jace Peterson has reached 2 more times tonight. Good matchup here tomorrow night as we wrap up our series with the Red Sox. Clay Buchholz for Boston. Shelby Miller is going to pitch for the Braves. Buchholz 3-6. Shelby 5-2 with a .202 earned run average. Then we welcome the Mets to town on Friday night. Peterson with a bunt try. And Pedroia with a backflip to first. A beautiful play. Look at how much ground Dustin Pedroia covered to take care of Peterson for the first out.
You don't see too many second basemen come from where he started in to get. Whoa. I guess that's just their plan. Napoli just anchors at first base and says, you guys, boys, you go get it. What a play. I've seen second basemen come in and field the ball and throw laterally across in the baseline to first base. I don't know if I've ever seen one come in that far and throw that far behind them.
That's a play a 4-time Gold Glover makes, and that's what Pedroia is. Cold comfort for Peterson, who was hoping for a hit. He gets a sacrifice. And now Cameron Maybin bats with another man in scoring position tonight. Great play by Pedroia. Braves have had lots of chances to score lots of runs tonight. Dave Baker tells us they've had a runner in scoring position every inning but the 5th. That at the plate, 3 for 13 with runners in scoring position. That's not like this club. They came in hitting .300 as a club with men in scoring position tonight. But they lead late, 4-2. Bouncing ball, that's through for a hit. Here comes Gomes around third. They're going to wave him. Hanley Ramirez doesn't even think about throwing the ball to the plate.
Johnny pulled up about halfway to home plate. He reached down and grabbed his leg, and I hope he's okay. Freddie Gonzalez saw it too. He was really chugging around third base. Hopefully he's all right. Another piece of good hitting by Maybin with a man in scoring position.
Here's what Joe saw on the move around third.
Right there. Grabbed at his leg and coasted in.
So it's 5-2, and Chris Johnson bats now. $10 hits for the Braves. That means $10 off your tickets for our next homestand. Or 10%, I beg your pardon, off tickets on your next homestand.
Yeah, we still have 4 games to go.
That's our every hit counts offer. It applies for every game between the Red Sox and the Mets here at Turner Field. 1-0 pitch. Fly ball center. And that'll stay in play for Betts. He's got it, 2 out.
Well, this is going. Somebody might have to go have a word with the official scorer.
Yes, right.
Yeah, well, it looked like an error to me.
Yeah,
I think.
What if it's a really odd number, like 19% off your tickets? That'll be fun to calculate, right?
Better than 18.
Yeah. Bring your spare change to the ticket window. We'll get you hooked up. Here's Markakis. Another good night for Nick. And 29 of his 75 hits this year have gone to left field. His 7th inning single gave the Braves a 3-2 lead. He scored a couple of runs. He's walked again. Power is great, but consistency has been really a lot of fun to watch from Nick Markakis. And that's low. If he can get through the 9th inning, he'll tie Aaron Lewis for that all-time errorless streak in the outfield. And he'll have a chance to break it, hopefully, tomorrow night. 5-2 Braves, bottom of the 8th. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Swihart's throw to second. Got Maben on the left hand, I think. He's in safely. A painful steal for Cameron. That's his 12th.
Well, we're not sure even on a pickoff earlier tonight if he got hit on the throw over to first, got under him. This one definitely nailed him. His arm got out in front of the glove. You don't see that very often.
So he's in scoring position for Markakis. A ball and 2 strikes. And that will end the inning. The Braves cash in a leadoff walk in the 8th inning. And they have added to their lead. It's now 5-2 Braves as we get set for the 9th inning. Jason Grilli will make his way to the mound here at Turner Field. He'll try to save it and give the Braves a 2-1 series lead over Boston next.
By Dodge, Born Dodge, CPI Security, and Budweiser.
5-2 Atlanta, 3 outs to get for a Braves victory here at home and all season long. Our friends at Delta Airlines get us from city to city. Thanks to our terrific flight crew for getting us back from Boston very quickly last night. Braves look fresh, look good. And hopefully the same will be for Jason Grilli. He's looking for his 18th save tonight.
Picked up his 17th save at Boston 2 days ago. Gave up a couple of hits and an unearned run. collected the save.
Last 11 outings for Grilli, 1 earned run in 11 innings and 11 strikeouts. And he's got the bottom part of the Red Sox order. Betts, Swihart, and then we'll see. And a base hit to left. Haven't been many clean innings for Jason. He's getting the job done, but it has been a tightrope for him. And the man aboard, you start thinking about David Ortiz and others on the Boston bench.
Fastball, split the plate, Betts all over it. His first hit of the night.
And David Ortiz has grabbed a bat and moves to the on deck circle. Here's Swihart. 0 for 2 with a walk. And that's in for a strike. It's 0-1. Even count for the Boston catcher. Tampa Bay did beat Washington 5-0 the final. Mets lost 8-0 in Toronto. A lot of shutouts in the big leagues tonight. Cubs 17-0 over Cleveland. That's in the ninth.
PNC Bank. That one had a lot of the plate crossing over to that outside part. Kelly Johnson trying to get Jason's attention, let him know he's going to play behind the runner.
Perfect pitch. 2-2. Braves know Ortiz is going to hit. Best scenario would be after a double play. There's a strikeout. Swihart's down swinging. He has struck out swinging 3 times tonight. Now the best David Ortiz can do is make it a 1-run game. Big cheer for David Ortiz.
Ortiz took exception, or exception may be too strong a word. He got a little upset with Grilli a couple of nights ago because of the way Jason goes about getting his sign. He's got his head downstairs at the ground, and every time he did that, Ortiz would walk out of the box and stalk around.
Ortiz is heating up for the Red Sox. He's homered 3 times in the last 6 Boston games. He's got a 7-game hitting streak and sitting on 475 lifetime homers, which ties him with Stan Musial and Willie Stargell. No balls at a strike. And that straightened him up.
Only Siriaco on the left side of the diamond for the Braves.
Popped him up. And Siriaco drifts back. He's got it. Ortiz is the second out. And the last hurdle is Dustin Pedroia, the Boston second baseman. He's hitless tonight, 0 for 4. He's 2 hits away from cracking the 10th spot on the Boston Red Sox all-time hit list.
That would be quite an accomplishment.
Frank Malzone is 10th with 1,454 hits. He's also hit safely in 7 straight games against the Braves. Really will try to end that here. Runner at first, 2 outs, 5-2 Braves, 9th inning. Runner goes, strike. Brzezinski lets Betts take second. No steal, defensive indifference.
Shown a good breaking ball tonight. It's had good tilt to it. He's located it well.
Popped him up. Kelly Johnson says he's got it at first. He does, and the Braves have beaten Boston. Atlanta 5, Red Sox 2. Big night for Pedro Siriaco. 3 hits, 2 RBIs. The Braves with 2 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th. Put it away. And Jason Grilli has earned his 18th save and our SunTrust save of the game.
High breaking ball there that Pedroia went up to try and get on top of and couldn't. 27th out. Braves win.
Red Sox dropped their 7th straight on the road, and the Braves gained a lot of ground in the division. With the Mets loss, Atlanta's 3.5 out as we wrap up the series with the Red Sox here tomorrow night. More from Turner Field in a moment.